really special. So we're going to do Wonder Woman Historia. Actually, so let me see if I can flip this because it's worth, let's see, mirroring is off. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's see. Just checking. Hello. Let's see. I just want to make sure that you guys can read it. Mirror your video is on. Well, I don't know. That doesn't seem like it's right. Okay, give me just a second, my friends. I'm just doing a little bit of Hey Pikachu, how's it going? I'm going to flip Karen. Okay. Oh, thanks, Pikachu. Not mirroring my camera. It's like doing the same thing. I don't understand. All right, so I'm just gonna keep going the way I'm going. Hello, welcome to the live stream. I'm your host. I'm Wonder Woman today. I don't typically cosplay as Wonder Woman, but I was doing a little bit of a test today to do some like pop art makeup. So like playing with like some dimensions. I was like, wait, looks kind of cool. Like I'm in a comic book, right? So I'm gonna read you guys a really special comic book. It is Wonder Woman Historia. So it's a really cool comic book. It's beautifully illustrated. I was trying to flip it so you guys can read it along with me, but I don't know, TikTok's fighting with me a little bit. So we'll see. I'll keep trying. We'll keep going with it. That's the beauty of like live television. So I hope you guys are well. Hey, Rose Star X. I'm gonna say hello to you guys. A few Pikachu, of course, we said hello already. Hello, welcome. Happy 2025. New cosplays. So typically my sister does a Wonder Woman cosplay. I love Wonder Woman just because of her relationship to the Greek myths. And so this is a comic book about Wonder Woman's history. So how Wonder Woman's created. A version, I should clarify, because I think there's multiple versions of how Wonder Woman is born. So we're gonna let's go right into it, okay? So thank you guys for joining me. I know that I was a little late. I was actually gonna go live. This is like a makeup tutorial I was doing for myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let good makeup go to waste. I'm gonna do a read along with it. So I hope you guys are well. The illustrations in this are quite beautiful. So I'm gonna just gonna back up a little bit. I don't have an official Wonder Woman cosplay on. I don't have one. I'm sewing one. So I'm in like my outfit that I wore to South Africa. All the outfits have memories in them, right? So I'm gonna back this up a little bit. Hey Wolveriza, how's it going? Okay, so I'm channeling my little sister today in my Wonder Woman cosplay as well, because she's my Wonder Woman in real life. And people love to call us twins. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna, like your mentors and your teachers don't just have to be older than you, right? Like you can learn a lot from those younger than you, especially those like I was reading a book called Mistress of Dragons, where a quote in there was like, no one knows more about reality than a 7-year-old boy. And I'm like, that's true. And so all of you who have a 7-year-old boy that lives within you, don't forget to lean into that persona for some help sometimes if you need some intel, some backup. You want to like throw some ideas there. So, okay, so let's get into the read because I can't be too late. We got to go to the vet with my Mr. Wolfie tomorrow. I've been dealing with dog mom stuff like all year last year. We'll get into that in just a sec. I'm going to start a show called the Dog Mom Diaries. That's coming up. With my sister will be there because my sister's a crazy dog mom. She has a little min pin named Dash, who I love. I'm like a dog auntie, and me and Dash are like spirit animals. So and like our pets are not just pets, they're companions and true friends. And so that's not to put a tangent on what tonight's read is. It's just a matter of like giving ode to the goddesses in my own life by embodying the attributes in them that I also love. And so I feel like in cosplay too, if you're interested in cosplay or you have any friends of yours who want to do some like feminine healing through cosplay, you like let me know. I can point them in the right direction. There are many ways you can approach embodying a lot of these archetypes, right? So let's get into the read, you guys. I don't know, guys, if you guys have ever seen this comic book, but it is gorgeous. So it is about the history of Wonder Woman. It says here, keep to the darkness, hero whispers, for the light will be your undoing. So let's go into it. We're going to talk about some feminine energy, and I'm here to talk to you guys about any one of you guys who have ever worked with goddess energy. Oh my goodness. And that's not just for women. Like, there are many men out there who work with goddess energy. My husband is included. And you have your own personal relationship to the goddesses. And I'm just here to let you guys know the goddesses love you very much, whichever aspect you are working with. That's just a message. You guys know. Hey, Pete. Yeah. I'm sure you guys know, like, you work with and goddess energy can appear in many different ways in your life. And I have done a lot of healing recently because I'm not going to air any dirty laundry or do any of that kind of stuff, which is like shadow feminine stuff. But I have a very deep mother wound, right? And so I heal that mother wound by being the best big sister I can and still embodying a lot of those important motherly, womanly energies, because there is a severe lack of it in the world today. And we're going through a big change, a big turnover, a lot of upheaval. And so that nurturing, gentle, compassionate quality, which is like very prevalent in a lot of the women in my like elder ancestor in my family, and they're counting on me to bring that knowledge out. Like doing your makeup can definitely be a sacred right to yourself. And I think for women to learn how to do their own makeup for your own face, like you can look up a tutorial, of course, which is what I did for this. I'll link to the tutorial to do Wonder Woman pop art makeup tutorial. But I still had to modify it for my own face because like my eyelids are not the same. All these things are not the same when you are using your face as like a canvas. And so I've just tried to get back into drawing. You know how hard it is to do a straight line in your own face? And I was so cocky, whenever I go into these tutorials, I'm like, that looks easy. Is this cell shaded? Half shaded. I could have gone into more detail, but I was like, wow, I got my ass handed to me with this tutorial. It took me much longer than I thought it would do. So this is a trial. I'm going to hopefully get better at this. I have a Supergirl one I do as well. So it's going to be part of some of the skits I'm doing on green screen to try to do like live action comic book stories based on some of my favorite comic book stories. So if you guys have a comic book, don't do the really crazy comic book stories where you're like out in space and aliens and stuff, because that's really hard to do in post-production. But if you have comic book stories you would like for me to bring to life in my own style, you let me know, because I'm going to try to give it a shot. So some of that to come this week, and this is just to show you like one of the styles of which I'm going to do it at. So let's get going, guys. Like, I love talking to you. So thank you, Wolveraza, for the love. Okay. So I'm going to I was hoping to mirror this just so you could read along with me, but we'll just go with it. I'll come back to it. So look at the gorgeous illustrations here. I'm going to try to give it their due. So I'm going to start from the beginning. Oh, wait. Is there a beginning part? Oh, yeah, there is. There's like a beginning. Okay. The Amazons, they whisper. Warrior women. Oh, the siren's going off in as I read that. Okay, the Amazons, they whisper, warrior woman, as though such a thing were foreign to our sex. Some say they cut off their breasts to aid in the flight of their arrows. Some are liars, fabulists, the children of Aries, the daughters of war. Oh, yeah. No, the Amazons have no fathers. Surely this we know. The Amazons sequester themselves from the world of men, save for Diana, a gift from the warriors themselves, our warrior women. No, not that either. None of it. History, young one, is written by the victors in the bitter battle between the Amazons and the gods of men. The Amazons lost. There is no objective version, neither this one nor that. But this is our story. The Amazons, what is this? Utopia? And it begins. It's really pretty. Wonder Woman Historia. Welcome. Okay. So now we can be introduced to the different goddess tribes that we have available to us. Let me bring this a little closer. I know, geez, Wolveraza, like that is a thing in Greek myth where the Amazons cut off one of their breasts to, so you can have your arrows on your back. And so, like, like when you wear a seat belt in the car, like your boob gets in the way. So like, it's in the way. Who needs it? Situation. Okay. So, with the goddesses, Hestia of the hearth, fire, and the altar flame, Hestia enters freely into every home. Women she sees beyond your walls. Artemis, the huntress. Artemis is one of my faves, actually. She is the moon and the wilderness and the restless heart. Artemis knows you for the wild creature that you truly are within. Demeter. Oh, thank you so much. My calming nature, Dandy Money. Yeah, I hope so. I'm hopeful to bring some goddess energy into your life. And I'm hopeful, like, it's kind of cool here because I love, we're going to get into the story a little bit more. You find that with the Amazons, the warrior women, they have different tribes based on the goddesses, right? Because the goddesses all have like different personalities. And so, I've learned this about myself when I cosplay different characters, that the way I envision those characters and how I want to bring them to life, the resonance of certain attributes are things that are like meant for me. No different than when you guys have a favorite movie or you have a favorite character, or you have a favorite, like anything really. That's all just like, no one told you to have that favorite. That's just something that like, you just do. And like, it's like a pure joy to kind of understand and know thyself through these kinds of things. It can be a lot more fun than, this world will have us believe, right? This discovery of self and coming home to yourself, right? Hey Keaton, how's it going? Hope you're well. Happy 2025 again. Welcome to the comic book read. We're doing a special read tonight. I'm doing a character I don't typically cosplay as. This is my sister's character. Me and my sis typically go to like Fan Expo. I usually do Supergirl and she does Wonder Woman. And it's interesting, right? Like Supergirl stays as like an eternal girl, but Wonder Woman is a woman, right? And in some versions of Supergirl, Wonder Woman actually trains Supergirl, right? Even though Supergirl is older than Superman, right? But she's kind of like in stasis as a teenager. So this like, I kind of vibe with that, right? Because that teenage self of me, like 16-year-old Rachel Z, eternally lives in me. And so I get to live out all of those like dreams that like she set out for myself, because now I'm like old enough to do whatever the heck I want, right? Good. It's pretty chilly. It's freaking freezing, you guys, in Toronto. I came from Winnipeg and I came here. I was like, you guys, why is it like this here too? Oh, okay. So I don't know if you guys have a favorite goddess. I'm going to go through these ones and you guys drop in the chat if you have a favorite goddess. Artemis is one of my favorites, but I'm going to go through all of them because I'll do a little refresher. Hometown about to get a lot of snow. Yeah. Like, when I went to Winnipeg, it was actually uncharacteristically warm, which I laughed at because it was still cold, but like it was warmer than it is usually. Like usually they're like, oh, Winnipeg is like colder than the moon. I'm like, well, that's great. Awesome. Okay. Artemis, the huntress. She is the moon and the wilderness and the restless heart. Artemis knows you for the wild creature you truly are. Next, we have Demeter, so Persephone's mother as well. Grain and growth and the sacred cycle of life and death. Mothers, literal and figurative. Demeter watches as you tend your gardens. She sees you weep for all that will not grow. Oh, indeed. Yeah. So the cycle of life and death, there is no life without death, even though, you need it, the balance of dark and light. Next, we have Hecate, speaking of darkness, a goddess of crossroads and witchcraft and death. And Hecate knows your power. So she knows your innate power, right? And your fear. I'm from Alabama, and it is rarely to get snow. I wish I would go down to Alabama. The South is calling me, my friends. We're gonna figure it out. My gypsy life. I already told you guys we're gonna go on tour, and hopefully, start out in the north and then go south. But there's a reason why you are where you are, right? Why you incarnated where you did on this earth, right? So there's something to be said, like, even though, like, for example, like, my DNA is from, like, South Africa and the Philippines, but so why the hell did I, like, come into this cold ass place? There's a reason, right? There must be, right? Okay. Southern is amazing. I also love, like, Southern cooking, right? Like Creole, like, you want to call it New Orleans, kind of like spicy gumbo stuff. Like, I love that. I love that ish. When we went to Vegas to compete and stuff, I used to love, like, food in Vegas is awesome. So I used to love going to, like, who is that guy who was on Iron Chef? Is it Iron Chef? I used to be obsessed with the Food Network as well, right? So I can't remember. I'm going to go on a tangent because I'm a Taurus and I love food. So we'll go back into that in just a sec. So we got Hecate. So far we have Hestia, goddess of the hearth, Artemis, goddess of the moon and the wilderness, Demeter, goddess of life and death, but more like the goddess of the grain and harvest, that kind of situation. And then we also have Hecate, goddess of witchcraft. She's kind of misunderstood in most cases. We have one of my favorite goddesses, Miss Aphrodite, and she is the goddess of love, lust, beauty, pleasure, passion, the goddess of appetite. Aphrodite feels you ache with hunger. And then we have Athena. Athena's awesome too. How do I choose? No favorites. The weaver, cunning and sharp, goddess of the city. She is made of edges. And of course, if you guys know the myth of Artemis, she was born fully formed from Zeus's head. Her mother, I forget the name of her mother, was also a goddess of wisdom. And I forget, like, he was afraid that if he fathered a son with her, that it would usurp him. So he ate her, like, turned her into a fly and ate her. And then later Zeus was like, oh, I have a terrible headache, and, like, took an axe and cracked open his head, and Artemis popped out. So she's the goddess of wisdom, and she's technically daughter of Zeus, but she has no mother. So it's kind of interesting. Like, Zeus has a lot of, like, maternal qualities, right? Like, Athena's birth from his head, Dionysus's birth from his thigh. I don't know what it means. I'll leave that with you guys to take. So we've got Aphrodite, Athena, and here, Athena knows your mind. Athena is also the goddess of heroes. In the myth of the Odyssey, Athena is Odysseus's patron goddess. She's also, like, Athena, Athens, goddess of cities. So, being in a big city like Toronto, like, I guess Athena should be worshipped here too. Oh, thanks, Justin. Appreciate that. This is my, like, trial makeup. This was very frustrating to put on. I was so, like, being such a perfectionist because when you draw, you're like, this needs to be perfect. I'm just gonna do a little close up. It's cool. It's like an optical illusion of, like, look, I'm in a comic book. Because we're all in a comic book, right? Reading a comic book about Wonder Woman. Okay, so now we've got Miss Hera. And so Hera is a very misunderstood goddess. So growing up, so I told you guys the story before about how every Saturday, me, my dad, and my sister would go to the library after we went skating on the pond in the winter and get like our hot cocoa. And I'd take out like 8 books from the library and then like go home and like read all of them and then go back and like read a whole bunch again. So one of the books I got was this book of goddesses, and it was goddesses from all over the world. So like, everyone from like Artemis in the Greek myth, Egyptian myth, Native American myth, um, like the Babylonian myths, like Inanna, all the equivalencies of all these stories and goddesses. And I fell in love with all of these different stories. And so when I was making my own book, I chose very carefully which goddesses I wanted to include. And so the initial story that I created was the Dragon Warriors battle for Mount Olympus. And in this story, there's like this virus that takes over the goddesses, which turns the goddesses against their sisters, right? And it's because, when you think about lower vibrational feelings, right? Like jealousy or shame, embarrassment, guilt, all of these things that like we end up feeling for whatever reasons, they take us to this place where like lower mind forms can form, and we just like we're not playing from a great place, and it's like it's hard, you're depressed, you like things suck, you like think like you suck, you're like this is awful. So in this space, you're very vulnerable, right, to like psychic attacks or things like just taking over you, and like you almost like take a back seat in your own life and you just let things run. Like I had that happen to me working in the corporate world, where you just like 9 to 5 commuting to work, you're just in this like weird pattern of like this isn't even me. But I'm making a great salary, and like there are moments that are really fun at work, and so like maybe it's okay, right? But then you forget about your larger soul mission because you're like caught up in this like distraction. So in the book, the way it plays out is that this virus takes a hold of some of the goddesses, including Hera, because Hera has to deal with a lot with Zeus, right? Like Zeus is always going out like banging everything. And Hera's kind of like, okay, like that's why she like they named Hercules or Heracles, because they wanted to be like, okay, Hera, like maybe leave Hercules alone. We're like, we named him after you, right? And she's like, I don't care, you slept around and blah blah blah. So we got Hera here, but though like the darker goddesses like Hecate, Persephone, Hera, they're very misunderstood. So what happens in my book is that this virus takes over them, and it corrupts them, and it turns them against the goddesses of Venus and Aphrodite, and a lot more like the goddesses of lusciousness and pleasure and beauty. And so just like, how come no one ever likes us and we're like the bitchy goddesses? And so like it's just like, well, yeah, we need all of them. There's a balance of things, right? Because women are all different too, and we're all different. So we should have the opportunity and the ability to work with whatever energies we resonate with, right? Like things are not good or bad. It's always just like a matter of like where you're standing and perspective, and just, having a little bit more care and compassion to our fellow human beings when we're trying to make, the pursuit of our dreams. So let's continue. We got our beautiful queen of the gods, Hera. Okay, and Hera, the goddess of women. She's the goddess of wives, right? And she is a queen, right? So like she usually ends up personifying this whole like jealous wife energy, right? And then Aphrodite is like, aha, I just sleep around with everything. But it doesn't mean just because you're like a wife, you like become this like hag. It's not necessary. That's a shadow side of things. Oh, hey, Big Max. Yeah, welcome. Thanks, Baywatch. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going, guys. It's a big book. Okay, and Hera, goddess of women. Hera sees with 1,000 eyes. She is your queen bitch, your sin eater. Ooh, I like that. Hera bears the burden of foresight, a prophetess. Hera knows your pride and your rage before you even do. Yeah, she's definitely she's personified by the peacock, right? Like the many eyes of the peacock, and this whole idea of Historia is basically the history of Wonder Woman, who I'm cosplaying as right now, right? Diana Prince, who like she is the bomb.com. I typically cosplay as characters that I personally find resonance with, and typically my little sister cosplays as Wonder Woman and I cosplay as Supergirl. But I'm doing this almost as like an ode to my little sister who, you know, I raised her quite a bit because I have a big mother wound. My mom wasn't really there in ways that mattered emotionally for me growing up. Uh, but like this is it's a beautiful comic book about the birth of Wonder Woman. One version though, right? Because I think there's a few versions of how Wonder Woman was born. You guys can let me know too if you guys have a different version than what I'm reading you guys right now. Maury, oh, thanks, babes. Thanks, Marie. I appreciate that. This took a lot of work. So I wasn't even going to go live with it. This is supposed to be like a practice for my makeup. But I was like, you know what? Worked out. I'm gonna like pull it together impromptu and read this to you guys. Aw, thanks, guys. For you, it's all for you guys. To show you guys like it's like my pop art look because it's to make it seem like I'm in a comic book, right? Yeah. Let's see here. Is this the clay from the gods themselves? Yes, Wolveraza. You will see. It's like I think they get into also the history of the Amazons. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the labors of Hercules, but I think in one of them he has to like steal one of like the queen of the Amazon's girdle. I forget, like they fight or something. I think that happens in this. So I only skipped a bunch of I skipped ahead in this because the imagery in this is wild, so I just want to get you guys to see the imagery. I also have to return a bunch of these books to the library. I held on to them too long and I got super sick in Winnipeg, so I didn't necessarily keep to the schedule I wanted to keep. So I'm kind of behind on it, but what is time anyways? Time is a construct. Everything will happen when it's supposed to happen. So I've just learned to kind of ride with things a little bit more these days. I hope you guys can do the same. Okay, so our Queen Hera, right? Misunderstood sometimes. So every bruise to your dignity burns her like fire. Oh, yes. So she's like your goddess of dignity. Your dignity, your ability to stand up for yourself, all that kind of stuff is in Hera. And so she feels it when you have been wronged, and like she feels it with like a burning, like, hey, you need to, whichever. I know, PCJP. I'm trying to get on it. Like I'm just finally listening to the higher powers that talk to me. That's all. It's just, I kind of, got really distracted with stuff. And so I'm just, I'm here to like, I gotta make up for some time when it comes to my creative juices. Uh, Thanks, Justin. Um, all of the Justice League are defeated. Um, you know what, like which iteration of the Justice League? Like always also gets confusing too. Hey, Mr. Top Ramen, not a bad thing, by the way, of self. Oh yeah, like oh, you guys are so wise in the chat. I'm gonna hold that there. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, well look at these gorgeous images, right? I took Greek myth in university, and people told me like I basically got an unemployment degree in university, but I call it goddess degree. The goddess codes. I now know all the stories, right? So I feel like that's worth something. Let me see if I can angle this differently. We are justice. 100% we are justice, right? So I am a version of Wonder Woman here to remind you because like um this is also me cosplaying as my sister too. Like my little sister's energy, like she's an Aries, and Wonder Woman is also an Aries, and like being an Aries woman is one of those things, right? To have more tomboyish qualities doesn't necessarily make me be like, oh well, I'm a he now. Just to be a strong woman doesn't mean being strong in a masculine way. There are different ways of showing strength, right? Like to have a baby is like not a joke. So I don't know, like we don't need to like my hubby Kevin, like I don't need, why am I gonna like lift all the heavy stuff if like he can do it? Like I can lift the heavy stuff too, but like he wants to do it for me. Like why shouldn't he? I'm Captain Planet. Oh, I love that. I love that, Justin. My sister's my best friend, and she's a baller. I love that, Morgan. Yeah, yeah. When my little sister was born, I was super happy. I'm like, great, now someone I can play with. And yes, OMF. I don't know what that means. I'm not familiar with that acronym. Okay, let's continue. Let's see here. The the subjugations and abuses of not men by men are too numerous to catalog in a library, let alone a book. Degradation. It's just his nature, they say. We say nature may be brutal, but it is not sinister. Chattelry. Also, there. So basically, I'm gonna switch this a little bit. I'm gonna skip through this a little bit so I can get to the juicy good stuff. Hope you guys are okay with my summarization of some of these panels. Hey Niles, hey Vancouver. Me and my sis lives in Vancouver. Um, it's funny too, when I went to go visit Vancouver, when was the last time I visited Vancouver? 2017, and then we did a road trip from Vancouver to Toronto. But before that, I think I flew there and we just like hung out for 3 weeks. And I had such jet lag coming back to Toronto. It was crazy how like 3 hour time difference from the west coast to here actually makes a difference. So hi Niles from Vancouver. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip this ahead. So basically, the goddesses and the Amazons are like airing their grievances because of all like the horrendous ish that like men do to people, right? Not just women, but just like, you know, and not just all, and not all men either, right? It's just like this general like generalization being like, hey, all this bad stuff happened and you guys caused it. To see it all at once. Okay, that's beautiful panel. Look at Hera. This gave me like a nice appreciation of Hera, right? She gets, as I said, her reputation is a little bit, you know, bruised, I think, with 1,000 eyes. Because remember, Hera has the gift of foresight, right? This gift of being able to see the future, right? And like oftentimes these things that seem like gifts are like, oh, that's cool, you can see the future, but like, yeah, but sometimes it can feel like a curse. Let's see here. Continue. So like enough. So like Hera's basically saying like we've had enough of these transgressions. Okay. And so they gathered in Olympus. Oh, this is gorgeous. To present their grievances to the king. So they're going to Zeus to present their grievances. So this is Olympus. It's a cool way of looking at Olympus, right? All these colors, all their animal totems, pretty gorgeous. And then you hear Zeus, his booming voice around them saying, my doves, my beauties, how do you glow when your bosoms are ripe with passion? And then Hera retorts back at him like, my bosom? What are you talking about? Goddesses, Zeus, we are not birds. We are not fruit. We are furious. We are not ripe. And we haven't hearts any more than we have feathers. Ooh, Hera, back to being her biatch. Oh, thank you, little knight. I don't have my Wonder Woman cosplay completed yet, so I was like, I'm gonna wear one of my fun little outfits that I used to wear when I was like more of a party girl, like old 16-year-old Rachel. This is kind of my hair back then too, if I think about it. All right, so this Zeus is the original Rizzler. Zeus is, you know what? I kind of like Zeus. You know, it's kind of like that badass, like hey, like big daddy kind of situation. Hey Justin, aw, thank you. I'm going now. Thank you for the conversation. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a beautiful one. I always leave people with a little message that the universe is counting on you to be exactly who you're supposed to be. So I hope you take that forward. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so this is what Zeus looks like in this rendition of the comic book. Kind of looks like Poseidon to me a little bit, but that's okay. So just so you guys know, this is Zeus, and he's basically saying like, "Oh, my beauties, why are you so upset? You shouldn't be so upset. You're beautiful." And then he says, "Oh, no, these forms." So Hera is saying, like, of course, like the form that she's taking, and of course, like when Zeus goes and I think there's a myth of when Zeus is picking up one of the nymphs or one of the other chicas that he's trying to bang, and Hera tricks the girl into, and she's like, I want you to show Zeus. You should get Zeus to show you in his like full god form, right? Because typically Zeus will appear in like the form of like a white bull or a swan or a beautiful white horse. But and even how Zeus got Hera, it was that he appeared in the form of like an injured bird. And so Hera's like, oh, this poor bird, let me nurse you back to health. And he's like, aha, I'm Zeus. Now you be my wife. But where was I going with this? Oh yes, Hera tricked one of Zeus's like chicas into Zeus showing his full god form to her, and so he did, and he burnt this chick to a crisp. Because like mere mortals can't always like hold on to, oh, hey Kakashi, hey, how are you? I got some like inspiration from you in terms of your cosplay, in terms of the makeup. And you know what, I want to tell you guys, there is a goddess of makeup, right? Hathor, Egyptian goddesses. Egyptians actually invented makeup, and it has like multi-purpose too, right? It's like good for hygiene, like you have to deal with like all the sand and stuff, so like to keep your eyes clean and hygienic, because hygiene is also a goddess. These are all aspects of life, right? We get, and that's what Hera is saying here. Like these forms are false. This is just a way for you in this like 3D realm, as human beings, even though you're like an infinite, all powerful being, as we're playing this role with each other. Like, oh, okay, like this is like my avatar in the video game. Like this is just what I'm appearing like right now, and it's me. But like there's also like so much more to me. But like we're going to have this consent with each other because we're going to play the game, right? All my tattoos are done. Very cool. What kind? Do you have a favorite Egyptian myth? Um, so when I had that big book of goddesses, my favorite goddess is Isis. It's always been Isis. I've worked with Isis a very long time. And Isis is a badass to me, right? Because, they killed her love, Osiris. And, even though like they split him apart and they tried to keep them apart, she was like, you know what? I don't care. I will find him and I will put him back together and I will resurrect him because I will figure it out. And that's like a badass wife. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be like that. And there's no shame in that, right? Um, I had been taught that like you use love or your sexuality as a way to get power over people, right? And that's a very shadow way of using feminine power. And we have a lot of like the Me Too movement, all this kind of stuff. I've been friends with guys who have been wrongly accused of certain things as well, right? So, and have women friends who have been in very awful situations, myself included, right? So it's not as easy as like, oh, all men are crap and all women like it's something that just needs to have a lot more dialogue and more conversation about it, and we need to stop being so like triggered and like, oh my gosh, you mean this and you're offending me. Like sometimes they're not. Like let's have a little bit more forgiveness of each other, a little more, right? Oh, thanks, Kakashi. You are my goddess now. Zeus is Team Blueskin. Yes, he is. Like, great catch, PCJP. My friend Arya, who is from the more like Vedic Indian myth, would say that's all like Krishna, right? Krishna is about the whole like earth warrior situation. Oh, thanks, Kakashi. You're sweet. Um, So like Earth Warriors, the blue man thing. So think of other blue men, Dr. Manhattan, this like Zeus in this situation, like the illustrator has chosen to embody Zeus in this way for a reason, more than likely. I have my spice eyes, right? The spice eyes, inner sight. So the chakra associated with the blue is typically two chakras, right? You have cerulean blue, which is like your throat chakra, and indigo blue, which is your third eye chakra. So blue in general has to do with like these higher vibrations of information, right? And it's not to say that it is better or worse than like red or orange or these other vibrations, only that they are what they are, right? So like you have Captain Planet too, is a blue man, right? And he's like an earth warrior, works for Gaia, and this idea of like being the masculine action arm of the feminine aspect. So I kind of think of like trees, like for example, as like you like Earth Mother, like Earth Mama energy, but trees are to me masculine, right? Or you have like obelisks, you're like penetrating the sky from the earth. And Egyptian myth is one of the few myths where the sky is actually a female goddess, right? Newt, and the earth is a male goddess, Geb. So it's like interesting how like like female masculine attributes and like how they are like play out in different stories, right? Gaia from Captain. I love Gaia from Captain. You know what? That's a great idea, PCJP. I gotta figure out how to do the whole blue thing with my hubby though, right? Like, do I have to literally paint him blue, or like, is there another way that this can be achieved? We'll see. Next time, next, you have a chakra painting, Kakashi. Yo. Let's, you know what? Maybe we could do a cool co-cosplay too. Because I feel like you would be talented enough to do like some of this kind of like painting. Like, like the Borderlands movie. One of the actresses in there was asking like before she did Borderlands, and that movie was awful, by the way. And I love Borderlands, and they probably should have done like the makeup in Borderlands to make it look like it was in Borderlands. Like like the coloring, the shading of it, like to make it look like, oh look, this is like, haha, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is a comic. This is a video game movie. Because like if you've ever played Borderlands, there's really no story. You're like looting and shooting. It's mayhem. That's the whole point of it. They needed to make a story to make it work. But PCJP, that is going on the list. Gaia from Captain Planet, because I loved Gaia. And I wanted Captain Planet and Gaia to get together, but it was not that relationship. And I had such a crush on Captain Planet, you guys. That mullet, everything. Okay, let's see. So Zeus. So also too, guys, if you guys are into astro, I'd like to think of each of the gods are also representative of a planet. So every sign has a ruling planet, and that ruling planet is associated with a god or goddess. So for you personally, like for example, Taurus and Libra, they're both ruled by the planet Venus, and Venus's equivalent is Aphrodite. So it's kind of nice to look at those attributes, those energy signatures, and go like, aha, like that in me is something that I am going to have more resonance with, right? Gemini, Kakashi, is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is Hermes, right? Messenger of the gods, very quick thinking, very mental, very magical. I love Gemini. I have a Gemini moon, so I have a lot of Gemini friends too. Gemini, the thing with Gemini too is that like everything is just so fast. So sometimes it's kind of like, I'm just gonna do it. Oops about the planning, right? Damn, I'm Venus. Hey, nothing wrong with that. That lusciousness of Venus planet. So Zeus is Jupiter, right? And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius, Zeus is something in your purview and stuff, right? But yeah, I love Mercury, by the way, and I love Geminis. But remember, every sign, every god, all of these aspects, nothing is just like all good or all bad. There are shadows and there are gifts, and there are gifts that are unlocked by you going through certain challenges that are presented to you that are only for you, right? Team Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, right? And the moon goddesses are Artemis, Diana, And right, Diana is the name of Wonder Woman, right? Her real name is Diana, and Diana's equivalency is Artemis and the moon as well. So something to think about. And I love Cancers because Cancers and Tauruses have a lot in common with, like, I think we've talked about this, like naps, snacks, hugs and cuddles, and like a warm toasty soup and like crunchy grilled cheese on a cold day. Like that's like Cancer and Taurus. Like we can bond over that kind of stuff. And make, yeah. Okay, let's continue, friends. These forms are false, worn and then discarded like gowns. And then Zeus continues on. Gowns with feathers, because he's calling them birds, right? They're calling them chicks, you know, like, hey, chicks. Oh, thanks, Kev's Collectible Spot. I appreciate that. We're reading a very fitting book, right? Where it's Wonder Woman Historia, because Wonder Woman's origin story, out of all of, like, let's say the comic book stories, is very much like Thor is kind of similar too, but like very much entrenched in real life myth, right? Okay, so where are we? So just to get you guys up to speed, the goddesses and the Amazons have come to Zeus to air their grievances of them being like, listen, we've been mistreated. You guys kind of mistreat a lot of things. And so Zeus is like, okay, you're upset. What can I do? That is the right answer, Zeus. We have not come here to wrestle you with words, not with a pitiful valley such as that one, or volley, well, I guess, because they're basically, this is like a war of words. So he's saying like, not with a pitiful volley such as this one, or that one rather. Not birds, you say, and yet you have the peacock, the owl. So the peacock is Hera, the owl, of course, Minerva, which is also Athena. And then he like insults this other chick. It's like, is that a chicken there? Right? That's cool though. Look at these images. Gorgeous. Bones and all, and you claim no heart, but I have known you to blush on occasion. Oh, Zeus, come on. And then Hera says back, on occasion, oh, you must tell me, you must call on me more often, husband. These cheeks have been stained with a dual rouge of loathing and disgust for eons now. There, and Zeus says back, there, you see? That's my girl. Now you've found your wit. Goading her. How may I be of service, my dear? We have had enough of men. And Aries looks to Hera and says, which men, mother? Hera responds, all of them. Well, what do you propose? Says Poseidon. How about a flood? Wipe mankind out and start over again, right? The flood, good old flood. Just wipe it all out, redo, start from scratch. Oh yes, nice to see you as well. Wonder Woman is right here reporting for duty. I am the Shadows. Nice to see you. Night as well. It took a little while for me to get myself together, but I'm here and I'm happy to share with you guys my birth story, my origin story, like my very goddessy god roots. So this is Wonder Woman Historia, as read by Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman. Basically a gift from the goddesses to humankind, right? Kind of cool. I was trying to flip it, you guys, so you could read along with me, because I actually figured that out, but then like TikTok wasn't cooperating with me, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. So let's continue, my friends. Let's see here. What do you propose, says Poseidon. How about a flood? Wipe mankind out and we can start over again. Oh, not mankind, Poseidon. Men. Our case was made on the first page of Herodotus, my king. The history of men is a chronicle of crimes against women. I've read Herodotus. There are tales of love and beauty there too. Herodotus 193. Every daughter of Lydia will work as a prostitute until she has raised sufficient money for a dowry and then can secure a husband. Ask the daughters of Lydia about love and beauty, won't you, darling? There are worse fates. The indignity of lies, not only in the commerce of love, goat, but in the irony of whoring yourself to many men in order to earn the privilege of whoring yourself to just one. Ooh, they're going there for that kind of stuff. Let's see here. My Wayne roots. I don't know what that means. Aw. Okay. Ooh, I like this. I like this image. I love Aries as a god too. Like so Aries is Mars, right? And Mars rules Aries. I'm an Aries rising. So my astro stack is like I'm an Aries rising, I'm a Taurus sun, and a Gemini moon. And so those three placements are kind of like your astro stack, and they give you like your initial character kind of understanding. But as well for me, I have Mercury and Venus also in Aries. So I do have quite a few like Aries placements. So I feel this whole like Mars, that energy of like, I'm just going to do it myself. I feel a lot in me. And Wonder Woman's birthday is actually like March 22nd or so. And so she's like a very early Aries woman. And she's very like Aries, like warrior woman. This definitely makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, guys, let's keep going. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit because then I'm gonna have to wrap up because I have some stuff to do tomorrow. But this was like a makeup trial. I will be back as Diana Prince as Wonder Woman. I'm trying to do some skits with some of my other character cosplays as we do like acting out some of the stories that we find in comic books, right? Of course. What I am the shadows. Of course you can. Okay, let's continue on. So the goddesses are basically telling Poseidon, Zeus, Aries, listen, like we've had enough of men because you guys are like crazy. So what do you do? So they're basically gonna ask Herodotus and oh my gosh, can I say this right? Thucydides rate histories of war, of ravished war brides and grieving mothers. Men suffer too. There is an honor in suffering. I'd like to do you serious honor then. You've made your point, girls. Women do suffer, historically and undeniably, at the hands of men. But their world is not without justice. Do you mean to suggest that women have done something to deserve this type of behavior? As a whole? No. Individually? On occasion. But you miss my point. Each of us has a role to play. Aries is the god of war, for instance. Poseidon, the sea. Apollo, the sun. Hephaestus, fire. Dionysus, wine, theater, and related debauchery. I love there's a god for that. I love Dionysus, actually. And Hermes, trade, father, merchants and thieves. Right you are. For I am Zeus, god of the sky, storm, and order, and justice. Look how psychedelic this all looks. Wonderful. So it is just because you, the god of justice, say it is just. What is the purpose of men then, Father? What is the greater good so served by this violent nature? To exist, to live, to love, to eat, to shit, to people the world with his children, to look after them until the time comes for them to look after him. Do you even hear yourself, you old fool? I am genuinely sorry. It is so hard for you to understand, my child. But nothing is without a reason. And then you have this beautiful panel down here of all of their expressions as Zeus speaks. The mighty Zeus has spoken. Well, that went well, I think. Hell is a state of being. Hades is a place. All you have to do to get there is die. If death is not an option, there are other ways in. Let's see here. On hand and knee, over the river of pain, or through that of the forgetting, there is no easy path. Nothing is given, but the goddesses will not be stayed, not by anyone. And so they reconvene in a dark cave on the outer edges of Tartarus at the Well of the Lost. The souls of all women whose lives were taken in violence are consigned there, eternally guarded, loved and revered as they should have been in life. The goddesses meet to pay tribute and execute their plan. All the goddesses, save one. Where is Hera? Ah. But that's why we have secret identities, my friend, right? Like, that's because the way to get to most heroes is like through those that they love, right? So that's why even like I have a comic book, Death of Oracle, where Oracle, Barbara Gordon, like she fakes her death, right? So that her friends aren't compromised in like what she's doing, right? Because like fighting crime, like doing your missions, your covert missions on the team, it's not like, it's dangerous, right? And even for like those who like love you because you are the one who has to do all that kind of stuff, right? That kind of stuff. All right, let's keep going, friends. I'm gonna keep going. Where are we? For reasons beyond their understanding, Hera does not come. She is afraid. Mind your tongue. Will not. She's afraid of Zeus. Well, he is her husband. On your belly you came, Hecate. Were you afraid? I was, and I am. And yet here you are, all of you, and still we are here. Cowardice does not flatter a goddess, says the little wild one, and she convinces the others to proceed without Hera, without their queen. And so it is fitting that their rebellion should begin with a tear. I, Demeter, offer the pomegranate seed and a leaf from the Staian elm. I offer to our cause the tears of Aphrodite. With them, comes passion and the restlessness nature of the ocean. Because if you guys know, like, Birth of Venus, Aphrodite myth is that, uh, you know, from the sea foam, Aphrodite was born, right? So the tears of Aphrodite, they're making Wonder Woman, right? So all the goddesses are putting forth their attributes to empower a hero, right? I offer to our cause the tears of Aphrodite, and with them comes passion and the restlessness nature of the ocean, the restless nature of our ocean. That was adding some this to it. I, Demeter, offer the pomegranate seed and a leaf from the Saigon elm. With these gifts, the blood of this endeavor will flow with dreams and ideas. Artemis offers this bone, torn from my own flesh, once a cage for the heart. I set it free. And in doing so, I offer courage and liberty. And I, Hestia, give unto this slurry a burning coal of godly light. Hecate offers dirt and clay, to which all living things return. With them we give the gift of fear and the mastery of self that comes with temperance. Yeah. From Athena, this blade of sharpest steel, and with it strength and cunning. I'm going to go back to Hestia. So basically, they're talking about how they're creating me, Wonder Woman, right? So you have Hecate, who's offering the earth and the clay and the pain and the ability to temper pain and turn that into something more. You have Artemis offering the heart of the wilderness, right? And this idea that to love is to also set something free. And courage, right? To have true courage. When you love, that can give you a lot of courage. And then, of course, strength from Athena, cunning and sharpness of mind to be strategic in your blows. And then finally, Hestia, to have that burning heart of flame within you, the spark of everything. Yes, beautiful. And then continuing on, so each of the goddesses is offering each of their elements towards creating Wonder Woman. And they put it all together and they make their magic. The souls and their guardians, having accepted these gifts, the deed is now done. Now, all that remains is for the goddesses to portion the devilment, the devilment among themselves. Each will protect her share and give it safe passage. For though it may be fitting that their Pepherdi come from Tartarus, it is not right to give birth there. Fair enough. And so they labor, each bearing her measure out of Hades, to the land of the living, where earth becomes yet another mother. Ooh. Accepting the seed and worming it, as the goddesses stand guard for many turns of the moon. At last there is life. The first Amazon is born from the vessel of Demeter. Are you surprised? Had you heard she was Athena's? We are warriors, after all, and the history of men does prefer a tidy narrative. But no, sisters, the first is born to the goddess of the harvest, for it is Demeter who ensures that man reaps what he sows. The first Amazon is called Penthesilea. She is joined by the others. Io, born from Hestia's vessel. Manalipe from Hecate, Helene from Athena, Pythia from Aphrodite. I love Pythia. Isn't she awesome? I love it. The Aphrodite Amazonians, I already know what I had a past life as. Um, and from Artemis, queen of the wild things, is born the Amazon called Antiope. Ooh, I love. Oh, look at this beautifulness. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful comic book. Um, in every birth, there is risk and pain. This is true of creatures, ideas, and tragedies. Mortal births are particularly gruesome. They enter the world unprotected, screaming, suited for inevitable suffering. Amazons draw their first breaths, girded and armed. There is no innocence in them. Vulnerability comes later when it is cultivated and earned. Mathematicians call the number 30 primordial and semi-perfect. Amazons call it sacred history, a tribe of 5 for each goddess. Save for Hera, it is begun. So I see. Congratulations. To you, a mother at last. Not quite. As close as you'll get, take it. Artemis calls you a coward. She is a child. What sort of woman would I be if I answered the insults of a child? What do you want from me? We'd like you to join our cause. I can't do that. He'll punish you either way. You must know that. I do. Then you would not be wise to Pala Athena, goddess of wisdom, cool-headed brilliance personified. You presume to know what I should do. Aye. You study what has been, evaluate what is, and imagine what might be. Is that meant to be a slight? My queen, you have just described the act of thinking, whereas I see it all at once. Where we have been, where we are, where we might go. Can you imagine not thinking, but knowing? I cannot. Then what good is your counsel to me? Are you saying you know our efforts to be futile, our venture doomed? I am saying I cannot join you. But that will not impede you, and for what it is worth, I wish for your success. A doomed venture may still be a worthy one. Athena, wait. Keep to the darkness, Hera whispers. For the light will be your undoing. It's good to see you, Petra. And you, George. Who is this? My assistant. She's young, a widow. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. Hippotlia means to say she's accepted her fate. Ah! Go now, George. Take the girls. Make an offering to Artemis for the health of your wife. We'll send for you when it's done. And so then there's a childbirth. So I'm going to stop here for now, you guys. I love that because it shows like the history of the Amazons. And if you aren't familiar with the origins of Wonder Woman, she's supposed to be the child of the queen of the Amazons. I cannot say her name. Hippotlia. She's fashioned from clay from her, I think, and I think Hera gives her life. I'm not quite sure how it plays out exactly, but this story also features Hercules, because if you guys remember, Hercules comes and like fights the Amazons as well. But there's beautiful, beautiful imagery here that I'm going to get into a little bit later on this week as I do another read. Like, look at that. Kind of images. So we'll get into that a little later. So thank you guys for joining me for this little read of Wonder Woman Historia as Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, with my whole pop art makeup to make it look like I'm from a comic book, reading you a comic book in this whole meta way of us doing this magical game of life, right? So I also do need to return this Promethea, which is book 5, the conclusion of Alan Moore's super esoteric story. But I'm going to do a little bit of a reread, take some pictures of it so we can do a little bit more of an analysis together. So if you're interested in joining the Cosmic Comic Book Club, send me a DM. I'm hopefully getting all of that stuff squared off today. Our first meeting will be next week, Monday, for the full moon. We're going to be doing a reading and an analysis of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that's going to be the free show is going to be 11 p.m. on the 13th, Monday, for the full moon in Cancer. And then we'll do a subscribers only from midnight on, and we'll get into more of the juicy stuff in Crisis, as well as some of the commonalities I've found and reason why I resonate really deeply with Crisis on Infinite Earths, because I wrote a poem when I was 16 called When Did All My Superheroes Die? And in Crisis, both Flash and Supergirl die. And I didn't read Crisis till I was actually maybe a couple years ago. I found Crisis on Infinite Earths maybe like in 2020, but it came out in the 80s, and it actually came out in 1985, which is the year of my birth. So there's all of these different little clues for us in the game of life that in my discovery of self, I want to share with you guys as you guys go through your own awakening, waking up to your superpowers, and who you're supposed to play here in the game of life. So I'm here to try to give you a little bit of that courage, and that's why I cosplayed as Diana, Wonder Woman today, to kind of like, channel a little bit of that energy myself as I go towards accomplishing all of my dreams in this year, right? 2025 is going to be a big year, my friends. There's a lot of beautiful energy at hand in the wellspring of magic for you to make all your wishes come true, right? Oh, of course, the bat signal. Yes, I'm working on a little bat cave too, you guys. A lot of secret fun plans that I have going on. So if you are a creator being and you want to collaborate, shoot me a message. Thank you guys for all of the love. Stay tuned for more cosplay, comic books, and cosmic content coming up. And as I said, remember to play the game as who you're meant to play here, right? Only you are going to be you, only you, right? And so when the time comes, the spotlight hits, and you're up, you're freaking ready, right? Because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I got your back, my friends. Have a beautiful night. Until next time, stay super.